What's up, YouTubers? This is your boy Big Metroid Fan 9 coming to you with another video game review. And in this review, I'm going to talk about the game Castlevania Legends, which was released on the Nintendo Game Boy by Konami. Now, this game is technically a prequel to the original Castlevania game on the NES when you talk about timeline, but it is not considered canon and everything. But essentially, the plot of the game is that during 1450, Sonia Belmont, who is the first vampire hunter in the Belmont family, goes to Transylvania to defeat the first incarnation of Dracula and everything. And essentially, Castlevania Legend has 5 stages with a bonus stage plus the fifth stage essentially have 2 sections in it, you know what I'm saying? Plus, there's a couple of things that come standard with a Castlevania game. First thing first, obviously, is like Sonya gets a couple of whip upgrades and everything. Where the second upgrade is essentially a projectile ball that can hit candles and enemies and stuff like that and everything. And the weapons that are known in the Castlevania franchise, as far as the secondary weapons, the axe, stopwatch, dagger, holy water, and cross, pretty much make a return in Castlevania Legends and everything. And you can find them each individually um, in the first 4 stages and the bonus stage and everything. Plus, you get a soul weapon after you defeat a boss in each stage and stuff. I would say, with the exception of like Dracula and stuff. Now, the soul weapons are wind, flame, ice, saint, and magic, and all of them have their own like individual functions and everything. Some of them are like essentially self-explanatory based off the name and stuff. And one thing that I did notice, this is specifically after fighting the first boss, is that none of the bosses in the entire game have a health meter. I don't know. It's like if you notice in the Castlevania games on the NES and pretty much other Castlevania games in the franchise, the enemies always have a health bar. I'm guessing it has to do with the limitations of the Game Boy and stuff and everything. Now, besides Dracula, the Grim Reaper and Medusa are the only bosses that really make a return to Castlevania Legends, specifically from the first game and stuff. Now, the graphics and design are mediocre at best when you compare it to games like Castlevania 4. I would say due to the fact to the limitations of the Nintendo Game Boy and stuff. Now the controls and gameplay are stiff, like to me, pretty similar to the first Castlevania game. In fact, and the hit detection can be hit or miss and stuff like that. And the stiffest part of controls for me will be the jumping and stuff, especially if you're trying to get to another platform or trying to get to the rope and stuff. Now the soundtrack is okay, but it's not as good as any other like Castlevania game that was released around the same time as like Castlevania on the NES or Symphony of the Night and everything. So it's just Castlevania Legends is, to me, just comes off as one of the more mediocre Castlevania titles in my opinion and everything. As far as the score, I definitely give it a 5 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, the limitation of the Game Boy graphically, the stiffness of the controls and stuff like that. Now, with that being said, you can sound off in the comment section about Castlevania Legends, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And if you like this video, don't hesitate to click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. This is your boy, Big Measure Fan 9, signing off.